Go forward, young Muslims, wherever you are, in the shadow of the sun or by the light of a star. Your supreme protector is Almighty Allah. Go forward, young Muslims, wherever you are. Go forward, young Muslims, whoever you are. Press forward and forward to the light of Allah, and repeat, Alhamdulillah. Go forward, young Muslims, whoever you are.
Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to our program Teens and Parents, wherein today we are discussing the topic coping with authority, which also is known as opposition defiance disorder. We have our two guests here today, and they are Fadi Mutawalli and our psychologist, Dr. Yasser Al-Ma'anawi. Dr. Yasser, before we went to a break, we were going to focus on the cures for this type of disorder. One was made mention about holding fast to the religion so that you now can see those defined lines where you should and should not be.
Yes.
Can you talk more about the cures for this?
Okay.
Should we call this a disease?
It's a personality disorder.
It's a personality disorder.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, from an early age, this should have taken place. But if it doesn't, then in the treatment, what we do is that you have to teach the parents to set boundaries at home. Okay? Because this starts with the kids testing their parents, and they win. Testing the parents, and they win. So we go back and we teach the parents that, no, it's your home, it's your rule, you have to stay and stand your ground. Okay? It's going to be difficult since your children went that far, but you have to stand your ground without violence, because violence isn't going to take us anywhere. It's basically with setting limits to the behavior, with being patient with them, and doing like the punishment, as I said before, it will be like you're grounded. You can't go out this weekend with your friends, or whatever you're doing in the evening, you're not going to be able to do it, or you take the PS2 from them, or the computer privilege from them. This is what needs to be done at home. On the outside, you have to teach the children to give, and that will give them the chance to get out of themselves. How do you do that? Charity. They go and they give a few hours every week, helping somebody older, okay? Helping in a shelter, helping, doing something for free. So they learn to give.
So they haven't learned to give, and
No.
it's always to receive.
Yes. So they have to do something for other people, okay? So if you don't teach them how to do that while they are under your authority, nobody will teach them later on. Okay, this is another piece. The last thing is the boundaries outside. Okay, and this is a piece that the school works with home on achieving it, which is if the kids don't go to school every day on time and behave correctly, there are going to be consequences at the school and at home at the same time. So there is a bridge between the school and home, and the children at that age, the teenagers, they need to know that they're working together. Okay, so there is no place to triangle or give information that are false or whatever. Okay, so they learn that there are consequences for their action. And not every time that anything happens to your child, you run to the rescue. Let them take responsibility for their actions. I know that the children are our children, and I know we want to help, and I know we want to save them, but every time we save them, we give them another chance to say what? Well, my dad will get me out. Mm-hmm. I know I can do it again. No problem. Okay? So there has to be a stop.
Is there a certain age that the child might reach? And this is not to exclude anybody to say, oh, well, that person's reached that age, there's just no hope for them. But is there a certain age where the child will reach that we might be able to say, that this is almost like the cutoff point, because as we get older, the chances of changing our basic nature becomes slimmer and slimmer. But at what point would we say, if there's a mother watching right now, and at what point should she become very alarmed that, my son's attitude, he may go through the rest of his life like this?
From the first time. It's indicative. Okay, this is an indication that something's going on. If it happens the first time and it didn't stop and it happened again, then they should be alarmed. There should be changes, because most likely it's not the child's fault. It's something happened along the way of the development years. And this is the end result of it. Okay, so they need to stop it, and they need to go to any measures to stop that. Everything, by the way, starts at home. Like we keep saying, institutions or the schools or a hospital or anything like that. Everything begins at home. And that's the value of the home. They need to learn from an early age that there is a God, there are rules, okay? We follow the rules, and we teach it to them by what? Stories. When they're young, 5, 6, 7 stories, okay? And the moral of the stories. So it becomes integrated in their system.
Sometimes I'm sure you've seen. I know you've seen it. That you'll see these children riding in a stroller. The kid is 4 or 5 years old. He's big enough that he can carry the bags for the mother, or at least something small for it. And we're seeing these children being pushed around. Mommy, I want this, I want that, and when in a department store or something, and when they don't get it, they will just throw themselves onto the floor and kick and scream until you hear, okay, I'll get it for you, and then I give it to you. Is this parent becoming, is it one of two things? Is she an enabler, or is she just a woman who has a lot of softness for her son or daughter? How will you know the difference?
Or she's embarrassed by the scene in the store, and she just want to get it all over with and go home. And the three of them is true. Could be one or the other or the other. What we need to do is that this is a perfect example for testing limits. Okay? I know that I'm going to get that, and when I get it, this is the only way I get it, I'm going to get it. And they get it. That's it. They know the road now. Okay, so we need to stop. Let them have a fit. So what? Okay? They need to learn the value of the money. They need to learn the value of time. They need to learn values of life. And that's what we're missing. Like we had a program in the States, Bridging Generations. Okay? I used to pair a child, 14, 15, 16, with a grandparent from somewhere else that is in a nursing home.
Why?
To give them the old values. Not from the family itself, but from somebody that have lived and somebody that raised children. And at the same time, you get a value of the older people are giving wisdom and the younger people are giving back life to the older people. They give them a purpose of living. So programs like this need to be incorporated.
Oftentimes you'll take people who are very, very religious, they hold fast to the religion. You find that the parents pray and so on and so forth. But something happens to those children wherein even then you'll find people who are very religious people, no control over the children.
Yes.
It's 11 o'clock at night and these kids are jumping up and down like it's the middle of the day. It's like, are the parents having boundaries for themselves but not exacting boundaries for their children?
Bilal, we have everything in the Sunnah. And if we look at it and read it and understand it and even read what's in between the lines, we have it in there. Okay? Because too much strictness in raising the kids, I'm talking about some of the people who are very religious.
Okay.
And then you find their children going out the opposite direction. Why? Strict, very strict. It will give you the exact same ending as somebody who is just nonchalant about everything and let them do whatever they want to be. Let them do whatever they want to
The
do.
result is going to be the same.
It's the exact same. Okay? The both end of the pendulum. So, خير الأمور الوسط. We always have to be in the middle. We always have to give love and affection and understanding to the children. And that's the only way.
Fadi, you would?
I guess like children, when you raise them, and especially from a religious perspective, they should love Islam and what they're doing. If it's all about don't do that all the time, like the doctor said, it's going to be like no benefit at all, like others who didn't put those strict rules. They should love it, what they're doing, and do it in front of their parents, even behind their back, like following those rules. They should love Islam, they should love the rules, they should understand it and be able to perceive it and even talk about it as if it's something they're really convinced about doing. Because if you see it in the West, like a lot of times people, like the children, they talk about these rules their parents are trying to implement, but when they go to high school and they hang out with their other friends, they're just like them. They're two different personalities. At home there's something, and at school there's something else.
Okay. Well, we're going to go to a break, but we're going to put something to Dr. Yasser and see if he can help us out a little bit. That how do we teach our children to love Islam that will give them those borders, those boundaries, and to respect those boundaries? Because we don't want to fall into the trap of no, 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 just as we don't want to fall into the trap of yes, 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 no problem. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
I don't think it's fair because, like, I've been there and, like, I wasn't even doing anything, and then they got me and my friends over, and one of my friends had stuff on them, and so we all got in trouble even though some of us didn't have anything. And, like, just because we were with him, he just thinks that we're like that. So, I don't know, and, like, yeah.
I wanted to. She didn't tell me she wanted me to. I wanted to. And, yeah, it went from there. I mean, she did a little bit, but, I mean, she can't really stop me for doing something I want to do. Because either I'm going to do it in front of her, I'm going to do it behind her back. So, yeah.
I mean, there's a certain amount of respect that you owe to authority, but I think it's different just depending on the power of the person. I mean, whether it's if it's your teacher, like, I think you owe more respect to them than your parents. I mean, like, with my mom, in my family at least, if you only respect people who deserve the respect.
Forward, young Muslims, wherever you are, in the shadow of the sun or by the light of a star.
The Philosophy of Islamic Law, a program for restoring belief and trust within Muslims' mind and heart, and for re-establishing a true concept about Islamic rules for others.
Go forward, young Muslims, wherever you are, in the shadow of the sun or by the light of a star.
Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to our program Teens and Parents, where we are discussing our topic today, which is coping with authority, also known as opposition, defiance, disorder. And we have our two guests here, Fadi Mutawalli and Dr. Yasser Al-Ma'anawi. Now, Dr. Yasser, before we went to the break, we were opening the topic.
Yes.
Of now, how do we raise our children to be people who love Islam? Now, before you answer, now, there's a difference between let them understand Islam and they will grow to love Islam, but there's a way to present Islam to our children that I think is being lost amongst the people. Some people feel it's just do's and don'ts.
Yes.
So how can we get them to love this religion?
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I always take a look at Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. And I take him as, I try to follow what he did. Okay? When Islam first came, he didn't tell the people do and don't, do and don't. Do. If you do, you're going to go to heaven. If you don't, you're going to go to hell. He didn't say that. Okay? Islam is easy. And it's understood because it's logical. Everything makes logic. Okay? If I teach my kids something, it's first through my actions. First of all, through my actions. Because they take that right away. Okay? The second thing, it's through the stories. The stories has morals. They're not just told to us for nothing. They have morals to it. So I can give it to them in a story fashion. I can take them out and show them the real Muslim life and how comfortable it would be. Because if I, like, my daughter is 10 years old, we could have a debate. Okay? She likes money. She wants money. And she thinks money is very important because it's going to buy her everything in life. So at this point, that's an opportunity for me to draw her into Islam.
How?
In a very positive way. By resetting her values. And her age, yes, I know money is very important. Okay? But we start talking about money. Okay? What are you going to buy with money? I go down to her level. I'm going to buy this and this and this and that. And then what's going to happen? Okay, how are you going to get your money? How are you going to do that? So I teach her values of working hard for the money, which is appreciated. God told us to work. God told us to work hard and to seek knowledge. Okay, so at this point, I went with her to the point that she has to go to college to get money. She has to complete college to get money, which is education.
Cause and effect.
Yes. Okay. And then after you get the money, what are you going to get with it? I'm going to get a car, I'm going to get a house, I'm going to get this. Is this what's important to you? Because now we're sitting together, you have your grandmother, you have your grandparents, you have your father, you have your mother, and they love you. What's more important? Is it the car or is it your family? She sits there and she thinks for a little bit and then she comes to me, well, both of them are important to me. I want to have this and I want to have that. Okay, money you could get at any given time, but your parents are not going to be with you forever. This is another value because she learns that people here temporarily and they're going to leave this earth. And they're going to leave with what? Nothing. You see the point?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's all connected together.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets the picture at the end, logically, that yes, really it is temporary.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to care more about the important issues, not only about money. Money is important, yes, but there are more important stuff in life than money.
Okay.
I was wondering, would that be an appropriate age to tell her that if she says, I love my car and my family,
mm-hmm.
to tell her the love of God and heaven should also be implicated in...
She wouldn't understand that.
That's not the appropriate time, right?
No, she wouldn't. You can say it. Okay, so there are many ways that you can teach her how to have respect for herself, how to manage herself, how to love God, first within herself and then to love God. And what do you do to show me that you love God? If you love me, what do you do for me? She told me, I'll do anything for you and for Mom. I'll do anything. Okay. So if you love God, what do you do for Him? I'll do anything for Him. What did you do today to show me that you love God? Or to show God that you love Him? Did you help somebody? Did you do your prayers? Did you, the basic stuff. Mm-hmm. And she gets it.
Would she get, for instance, telling her that the toy you like so much, if you give it to the poor neighbor's kid, that would please God? Would she understand?
She would.
At that
Yes.
age, she would. Right?
Yes. If she has a concept of giving, she would. And she will give. And she'll give away. Okay? And that's how they understand Islam. It's not about the hijab. Because I see a lot of Muslims, their daughter will turn into 5 or 6 and they will have them wear hijab. For me, Islam is not only the hijab. I mean, the hijab is only the external picture of Islam. So when I see my daughter, I thought, okay, hijab is very important because of 1, 2, 3, 4, when we sit down and talk. I would like you to wear it, but it's your decision.
But if she wears hijab at an early age, she'll be able to, like, it'll be easier for her to wear it at the age when she
sees her
obligated to
mother
wear it.
wearing hijab. Okay? When she sees her mother wearing hijab, then it's inappropriate. This is a normal. It's normal fashion. I don't tell her, okay, you go and you put your hijab now. I don't do that. I explain to her the benefits of wearing hijab, the benefits of being modest, because she's not going to just wear hijab right away. She has to be modest first, and then when she gets to the age that she has to wear the hijab, she will wear it.
Okay, but what if she decides not to? I mean, this is a real possibility. You try to encourage and show them the benefits and everything, but at some point, she may say, you know what, yeah, I understand. I just don't want to do it.
No, but if she loves Islam, she's going to love the hijab, and she's going to have, out of free will, she's going to wear it.
That's our hope.
Right.
That's our hope. But she could actually come and say, no, I don't want to do that. It's too hot outside. I don't want to wear the hijab.
Okay, and then what?
That's when you exercise your rights as a parent. No, you're going to do that. As long as you're my daughter, you're going to do that. After you get married, you can talk to your husband about it. Okay, and we talked about the benefits of wearing hijab, the benefits of doing this, the benefits of doing that, without any losing temper or any, I don't lose my temper over this stuff.
So we're talking about stages now.
Yes.
There is the seeing or acting as a role model. For example, the prayer. The child sees you pray. Mm-hmm. That's it. We don't call him to pray. We don't tell. You just start praying, and then he stands on his head or she stands on his head, thinking that it's the sujood or prostration. Okay, this is one level of it. The next level is to encourage them.
Yes.
And then if they're not, you try to show them the benefits. Look, see, praying, it's good, it's for God, and so on and so forth. Then he goes to the next one where it's like, okay, you're now a certain age, it's time to pray. Now you have to pray and you assert that authority. So is this the progression that it should take?
That is, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. And that's the way, I think, the best way to teach your children is to instill the love of Islam in them first. And then you tell them now it's the time to practice what we've learned.
Mm-hmm. As a teenager, though, I don't want to sound negative and and get a lot of emails saying that I'm no good. But I do have to ask the question. Now we're talking about teens now, and they've been on a certain thing for a good while. They may be 13, 14, or 15. Say, I don't give anything to anybody. Mm-hmm. Okay, is it too late for them?
No, it's never too late. It's never too late, because you see, if we come from that point of view that it's too late for them, then there is no reason to do what we're doing.
Okay. All right.
It's never too late for anybody at any age, since they do want to change. So it's never too late.
Okay. Dr. Yasser, Fadi, we're going to have to call it even here. Okay? We are going to have to wrap this session up, and I'd like to thank you all for joining us. Respecting boundaries is something that is a cornerstone to a healthy human being. Much more so a healthy Muslim who respects the boundaries of their Lord. I am your host, Bilal Abdul Kareem, and I'd like to thank you for joining us on this program, Teens and Parents. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Go forward, young Muslims, wherever you are, in the shadow of the sun or by the light of a star. Your supreme protector is Almighty Allah. Go forward, young Muslims, wherever you are. Go forward, young Muslims, whoever you are. Press forward and forward to the light of Allah, and repeat, Alhamdulillah. Go forward, young Muslims, whoever you are.